Welcome to the PowerHaus Podcast. I'm Gabrielle Caine, and this show reveals what successful people do differently so you can too. We'll dig into the choices, habits, and turning points behind the results and leave you with one practical step to use each week. Welcome to the PowerHaus Podcast. This is Gabrielle Caine, and I'm here with my guest, Tamara Anka. Thank you so much for joining us today, Tamara. How are you doing?
Hi, Gabrielle. I am very good. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm very honored to be here. As you already know, I've listened to several of your episodes, if not actually all of them, that you've released so far. And I'm so extremely impressed with your guests, with you. And I've learned a lot from them, and it's given me a lot of insight, both personally and professionally. And I'm very honored to be here. I hope I can bring as much value and wisdom as they have so far. I'll do my very best. Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. You are an amazing person, and I can't wait to get into your story. So, why don't we start
Great.
with you telling us what you do?
Well, right now, as of today, I run and operate my own online business. It's called the name of it is citrineliving.com. That's my online website, and it's a home decor and lifestyle platform, I like to call it, where I try my very best to inspire my readers to decorate their homes on a personal level that brings them joy and happiness, to create a home that is unique to them, their personalities. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm trying to slow down my speech a little bit. Um, and I really I think it's a place where I want to inspire women mostly. And if I can inspire men too, that's wonderful. And it's just an online destination to help people find their personal style, because it's truly, our homes are a reflection of who we are inside and out. We all love to be home, and you want it to be a place you love to be in. And that if it's beautiful around you, your surroundings bring you joy, I think it's going to bring you happiness inside as well. So that's what it is for me. And I try to do the same for my readers. And I also have online channels that support my website, such as Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, all the social media platforms. And you can find me, my content on all those different channels, and they all basically support my website, which is like the bread and butter of my business, which I fell into accidentally. I'll get into that more in detail as we progress, but ultimately, that's what I do currently today.
Wow. All right. Well, that's amazing. Did you always know that you wanted to do that?
Absolutely not. I had no idea. I really fell into it completely by accident. And when social media became like a thing, this goes back. I started doing this about like on a serious level, maybe 2016, but I was doing it a little bit before that as well, not knowing at all what I was doing. It was really just experimental or just having fun. I knew at one point I wanted to create a blog to inspire women. Um, but I didn't know anything about blogging. I didn't really understand even really what it was, other than a blog was a place where people upload pictures and talk about things. So at that point in my life, I'm trying to remember. Yes, I was working full time. I had gone back to work full time at that point, because I took a certain amount of time off when I had my kids, which was always my plan from a younger age. I'll get into that later as I guess we'll work backwards, and I'll go a little bit further back into my history. But when I got to this point, I was looking for a creative outlet. I was working back in my field, working professionally at a pretty high level career that was also a lot of stress. And I was at a point where I was dealing with, family, running a home, working full time with a high level job, and I needed an outlet. And it ended up that I left my career because it was just too much for me to manage the big career and the family. My kids were really important to me, trying to do all the things, and I just couldn't manage. And my hat goes off to all those women who can manage all that, because I could not do it. working out of the house and running my home and family. So I was looking for this sort of outlet at the same time. And I've always loved decorating. I used to dabble a little bit in doing it for other people. And I had a few clients here or there. Um, and people would always ask me for advice. And I don't have a professional background in decorating or interior design at all. My background is in graphic design, and I worked in that field for a number of years. And I just always had a love for interiors and decorating. I grew up, I'm going off on all kinds of tangents here, so stop me if I'm kind of
No,
meandering.
this is good. Yeah. I definitely want to get into this, and we're just starting to peel back the
All
layers. So
right,
by
all
all
right.
means.
This is like, I'm on the fly here, so I'm doing my best. But yeah, well, I'll go back a little bit. So I started right out of design school as a junior designer in retail marketing and fashion here in Montreal. There's several Canadian retailers that are based in Montreal. I was very lucky to work for some big ones throughout my career. And I learned tons in that business. It was a tough industry to work in, and very cutthroat. Retail's a cutthroat business, but I learned so much. I gained some amazing, I met some of my lifelong best friends there. I gained incredible professional wisdom from my superiors, and it really helped me develop a lot of business skills that I use today. And from a creative design standpoint, it taught me a lot about branding and how to create a product and bring it to market and all those things. And because I always worked in the creative side of marketing as a graphic designer, and I worked up, I did generally in this business in retail. When you're a graphic designer, you're doing things like in-store packaging, signage, photography, window displays. You work with the visual merchandising teams. So I always played an instrumental role in the brands that I worked with, and working very closely with those other departments. I learned a lot in that respect, and I was really, really fortunate to be given amazing opportunities and to be trusted with my design experience and my knowledge and expertise to create and rebrand different businesses and be part of new store design concepts, new marketing and branding concepts. And so I developed that skill set. And I was really lucky to be able to learn what I did. When I turned 30, I had my first child, my son. So I left my career. I always knew I would be home with my kids because I was raised with my mother at home. So having kids was always there, but never on the forefront of my mind through my 20s. And I knew I'd have kids one day, but always kind of put it aside because I was very career driven. And when I finally decided, well, I got pregnant without realizing it. So it was a blessing from God. I got pregnant. My son came just at the perfect time. And I left my career to stay home and raise my kids. My daughter was born a couple of years later. And that was also an amazing blessing to be able to stay home. But I did struggle tremendously with leaving a career and staying home and being a young mom, even though that was always what I had wanted and envisioned for myself. It was a struggle. I struggled as a young mother. And
So
sorry.
sorry, would you say that there was an internal battle
Yes.
being a mother and being so career driven? These are two, I don't want to say opposites, but I mean those aren't exactly parallel roles, right? So was there an internal struggle where you started asking yourself which path do I choose and how do I manage it?
There was an internal struggle in the sense that I left this huge part of me behind to take on a new role that I always knew I would take on, but I wasn't prepared for what was coming. And it's huge when you become a parent and when you become a mother. I mean, your life changes. There's nothing like it. Um, it's the greatest gift we could be given. And it was a huge challenge for me. Although I knew it was what I was supposed to do and what I had always wanted to do, it was just such a huge challenge. And I struggled with that. I hope I answered that correctly and what you were looking for. But yeah, it was hard. It was hard, but it was something I knew I wanted, but it was not easy. And I really struggled with that person that was now gone. I was always very career driven, always. I always knew exactly what I wanted. Um, and my path just, I was lucky enough to get a job right out of graduating out of school. And I followed a career path. I was really blessed to, like I had said before, to meet wonderful people, have amazing experiences, and really grow in that career. And you just have this idea through your 20s, you're going to be this super successful person, and what you want. And then, life just can shift on a dime. And uh, I wasn't prepared for what was coming, but it was the greatest gift I could have been given. And I'm so lucky. My kids are much older now. They're in their 20s. My daughter's about to turn 20. My son is 22. And so, yeah, it was tough. It was tough, but it was the best thing I could have ever asked for at the same time.
I think there's a lot of people who can relate to that. And I had done that as well, where I had my kids and I was a single parent, so I had no choice and I had to manage the two. And there's always this struggle with where's the balance? Where's the line? And how can I be the best that I can be in both, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
you don't want to lose your job. You want to be the best that you can be at your job, but you also want to be the best mom. And how can you be the best in both places at the same time? So, how did you manage to switch gears? Because I think that that transition period is where a lot of people struggle. And how did you manage to switch gears and go from full-time career to full-time mom, having two babies and deciding I'm going to leave this behind, or did you decide you're not leaving it behind? What was that period of your life like?
When my maternity leave was up with my son, they wanted me to go back to work, and I was trying to manage a part-time schedule. And one of my direct boss at the time, she was willing to let me do that, but the higher ups would not. So I, unfortunately, and I can understand that because it was a very hands-on job. And so I did try to go back part-time, but it was in the end, ultimately, I made the decision, no, my family is where my focus is right now. This is what I need to focus on. And we made a lot of sacrifices financially, going from a double income to, my sister used to call us the Dinks, double income, no kids. It was a big joke that we always that we always would joke about. And then to going to the one income and having kids. And so we made some big sacrifices back then. But it was something that we both decided was the right thing for our family. And growing up having my mom at home, and plus my parents played a huge role in helping us, and so did my in-laws at the time. Sadly, my parents and in-laws are gone; they're not here anymore. But we are so lucky to have been blessed with amazing help. And I come from a big, close family, so I had a lot of support from my sisters as well. My brother doesn't live here, but all of us, we're all really close. Our kids are all really close. So I had a big family support as well. That was a huge help. And friends, of course, who were nearby at the same time. But it was an isolating feeling at the same time, because back then we lived, well, where we live now, we didn't have friends around, or many friends around. So I spent a lot of time alone with my kids. So my parents lived quite a distance. So I'd pack them up. I'd go hang out there for the day with my parents. So I spent a lot of time there, and that was very, very helpful, because otherwise it was a little bit lonely sometimes being by yourself with young kids. But I did have some good friends nearby too, but it was not an everyday experience where I had young moms with young kids that I could spend all this time with. I didn't have that. So um anyway, I managed, and at the same time, I dabbled to try to start decorating here and there, little bits and pieces, because it was something I always loved. Our home was always a really important thing for me. And my mom was like the best homemaker you could possibly ever ask for. She made every single meal from scratch every single night. Our home was beautiful because she loved to decorate. She was the most fabulously talented artist. She loved fashion. She loved design. She instilled all these things in me from a very young age. And she was a huge influence on me. I speak about this very openly on much of the content that I write. I've done other interviews where I've been asked similar things, like what's my inspiration. A lot of it comes from my mother. I just have this innate love for anything creative really. And that's why I just naturally followed a path um, in the arts and design. She certainly didn't push me to do that, but she just instilled that in me. And, we used to decorate my bedroom like, I think once a year. It was always, she'd come home with, hey, I've got some new stuff. So it was always really fun. We'd paint, we'd change the bedding. She'd buy, I was here, we go to an antique market and buy a desk. She was just always doing all these different things. And so from a very young age, I was exposed to all this fabulous, fun, creative stuff, and it molded me. It really, it was just, it became a huge part of who I am, and I just always continued to do that. And it's just so funny how having this background in design, and then going from a career to staying home with my kids and trying to be a happy homemaker and do all those wonderful things and make our home as beautiful as possible. I'm also a neat freak. I'll just add that in. I have and it's not because I am OCD. My family knows I am. I'm a little bit nuts about that, but I need like order, visual order to keep my sanity. So I keep my house very neat and tidy. I'm not always the most organized, but I clean on a regular basis, all these things, because it's part of my mental sanity to have a fresh, clean space. It helps me focus every day. I'll get to that later. But anyway, I make my bed every day. I clean up. I work from home, right? So my business is based out of our house. So part of my morning routine is to get my house in order, because I need it. I can't be working in my office and then walk out to a dirty kitchen. I can't go to bed at night until everything's clean and put away, things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I was lucky in my journey just to take all these things I'm so passionate about, and somehow turn it into a business. It was really incredible how I fell into it. It's sort of accidental, but I don't believe, I think I said that before, accidental, but I don't believe necessarily in coincidence. I believe we're on a path, and things happen the way they're supposed to happen. I'm very faithful. I believe that God orders our steps, and we definitely face trials and difficult things in our lives. They're all there for a reason, and a lot of those trials that I went through brought me to where I am today. There's no question about it. And we just said before this interview started how we're always learning and becoming new people, and how we're so different today than we were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, a month ago, even yesterday. We're always growing and learning. And I just feel really fortunate that I started a business that I knew nothing about. I literally, it came out of thin air. I didn't even know I could monetize running a website. I didn't know you could actually make money. I just wanted to help people come up with ideas for their home. And okay, today I'm going to write a story about, a beautiful table. Let's set a table. And this is my a tablescape that I would create for Christmas or fall or spring. This is things like that. Or I'm going to decorate my kitchen with beautiful artwork and these different pieces because I love them, and they're special to me, and it's important to me to have these things visible, and just trying to teach people different ways to create a home that they love. And while I started to do this, and I didn't know the technical side of any of it, I just had to, I've told you this in the past. I literally Googled how to start a blog. And the first thing that came up was, WordPress is the best platform for that. So I bought a domain name, and I found a hosting platform, and I just went through the motions of trying to learn and figure it all out, and made tons of mistakes along the way, costly ones at times. And then I got into social media, not knowing a thing. I didn't even know what a hashtag was when I started. I literally didn't know. I didn't even understand what it meant. And I just threw myself into it, and it just organically grew. And I've been doing it. I started. I'm having a bit of a blank, but we moved into this home we built this home 16 years ago exactly. We moved in, and I started to share it online a few years later. And it just and I feel that this home, I feel God brought us here to allow it to flourish into the business that it has become today. And it's really amazing how that happened. So I met people along the way. I met a amazing group of women who were doing exactly the same thing as me. So we started to network and we helped each other. We learned from each other. We helped each other grow and make more connections, join networks, join platforms. And it was a very organic growth.
Okay, so you start off by, I'm going to backpedal just a little bit here. So you said that you didn't know anything. You ended up Googling it and you're just trying to figure out like what's a blog, what's a hashtag, what's WordPress, all this stuff, which means you have zero followers. Nobody even knows that you exist. You probably don't even have the name Citrine Living yet.
No.
So so you start with zero. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, I didn't know
Okay.
anything about it. I didn't
And
even
how do
know
you
you needed followers. You know what I mean? I didn't even know. I didn't understand how it worked, like at
Okay.
all.
And so how do you meet these other ladies that are doing what you're doing then?
Well, it's going back quite, a long time ago. So it's hard to remember the specifics because it was a long time ago. But I sort of, if I remember correctly, so I had the blog, and to me at that time the blog, again, which is my website, my online platform, and I had Instagram maybe a year later, let's say, I guess, and I didn't even know. I just started to put up a picture of, let's say, a bouquet of flowers, or a picture of my Christmas tree, or a picture of my living room. And then it was my husband, I think, who explained to me how hashtags worked. So I guess I must have at the time looked for certain hashtags because I didn't even know you're supposed to put them in your caption to get, it's a search mechanism, right? A hashtag, people find you through hashtags on social media. So, and I think I stumbled into just other people with beautiful homes. And then I discovered, like, through messaging, private messaging, somebody would reach out to me or I would reach out to somebody else. And it just, at that time, Instagram was very, very different than it is today. There was no video. It was just all static images. You could only post one image at a time. This was before carousels. It was before reels. It was before all of that. And I met these amazing ladies who are all doing very similar thing that I was. And some of them, I will say, a few of them were at that time kind of like ahead of their time. They had big blogs, a big audience on their websites, big readership, and these ladies were doing it, a little longer than me. So I learned a lot of things about blogging through them. And then with the Instagram stuff, we would play these kind of games that people were doing at the time to help each other grow, where we'd come together, we'd all post each other's stuff and share each other's stuff, and put up a bunch of, like, a hashtag challenge, and you'd get readers to submit their own pictures, and then you'd pick a winner, and they'd have to follow you to be a part of the challenge. And a lot of us grew that way.
Yeah,
These
I've
sort of,
seen those.
yeah. So we did a lot of that way back when. And I just want to say also, like, all the growth that I've had is purely organic. Just that is an organic way to grow. We would help each other out that way. And then yeah, and then it's so hard. I don't even know. It's this machine that just, it's crazy how just this huge growth happens. But I've been doing it for a long time. My growth is not huge compared to some people I know who are like in the millions, right? That started out where I started, and God bless them. It's amazing. My growth has been very slow and very steady. I can't complain about it. It's worked for me. And as far as the blog goes, it was just a lot of learning, going and learning, reading articles, joining Facebook groups on different platforms where I could learn from other bloggers as well. Uh, People asking questions, helping each other with technical things. The technical part is a huge component that I didn't understand at all. It took me a while to figure
Hmm.
it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're on this incredible journey that you didn't realize you're picking up people along the way
Mhm.
to support each other, and you start out from zero. And also, And also, I pulled up your account on Instagram and you have 370,000 followers.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And I'm taking a look at I mean, obviously I look at your pictures anyway. But I mean, the most recent one was, you already have well over 5,000 likes on your most recent post. You've got well over 1,000 people who shared it. 733 comments. That's incredible.
Thank you.
You're, I really love this. So I'm going to go back to being a mom for a second here.
Yeah.
How do you balance making your house, okay, first, okay, so our listeners can't see this, but I can see this. And your house is so symmetrical, everything. You have, a desk behind you and you have a lamp on each side, perfectly
Symmetry is a
spaced
big thing
apart
for
from
me.
each other. And the pictures are perfectly spaced. Everything is symmetrical and placed perfectly. And you have two little, I'm assuming toddlers at this time, or little kids running around, and you're networking and you're building a following and you're taking pictures and you're staging. And how are you managing that? Because you said before, I can't manage this full-time career and being a mom, but here you are doing it and keeping your house clean at the same time. Can I point that out? Because I can't do that. And I'm very anal about that. So tell me how you manage to keep such a clean house and manage everything and two careers, being a mom and a full-time blogger now.
Well, the clean house is non-negotiable for me. It's not even a question. It's I have to have a clean house. It's just how it is. I mean, it's do I deep clean every week? No, but I need beds to be made. I need the kitchen to be clean, the bathrooms to be wiped. I just have to. It's just I'm in the house all the time. So for like I mentioned earlier, for my own mental sanity, I just need it clean. So it's just non-negotiable. So it's just natural for me to clean. So it's not even something I think about. Do I love it? No, I don't like cleaning, but it's just something I do because it's part of, like, I need it. And my kids were a little older at that time. By the time I started this, so I had gone back to work full time, like I said, and then I decided at this point to come back home. So I took about 7 years off when I left my career and had my kids. And when my daughter started kindergarten, I went back full time. My son was in second grade. So I immersed myself back into my career. I had amazing opportunities presented to me, so I took them. And that's when I couldn't handle the load. So after I had spent several years at home, I went back for close to 4 years, and that's when it was like, okay, this is too much. It was the commute, it was a high level job, it was the demand of motherhood and all those things. I mean, I was working till 1 o'clock in the morning every night. Like I'd work, my office was quite far. One office was all the way down in the city. That was a real trek. And then the other one was in another um, city in Laval, north of Montreal, which was the commute was just insane because I live out of the city, like in a suburban area, but off island where it's just a little bit further out. So it was a big commute all the time, a high level job. I try to leave early enough to go get the kids from daycare, and then get home, cook supper. And then once they were put to bed and all that, then I get back and work because I'd have to answer emails and all that stuff. And I would do that till like 1 in the morning. And then I'd have to get up at 6 a.m. And leave for the day and do it all over again. And so that was just it burnt me. I almost burnt out. Really, literally, I was at a point where it was just I couldn't deal emotionally, mentally, physically, all that stuff. And then, through the support of my husband and my parents, we decided, okay, we're going to go back. We're going to go back to one salary. And it was a real blessing monetarily at the time to have the income coming in that we did, but it wasn't worth all the stress. And, I felt my kids really needed me. So that's when I decided, okay, that's it. So they're now 5 and 7 years old. When I was back at work, and then I'm trying to remember, it's all such a blur. I left in December 2014 for good. And that's when I started, I think, one of my first Instagram posts. I think I had just started the blog lightly before that, just touching on it. And I'm just trying to think. It's kind of a blur. I might have started Instagram already, but anyway. And then so when they were a little bit older at this point, so they weren't so young. Toddlers would have been a totally different thing. Although there are creators out there who do it from pregnancy. I can't. It's unbelievable to me how these, mommy bloggers and whatnot do it. Like that's incredible, and they share their personal lives, their families, all that. That to me, I kept as much as I could the personal stuff out of it. It's really it's there's some lifestyle content, but it's not, I don't show personal things with my family. Just little bits and pieces here and there. But at that point, I don't know how I managed it. I just did it. I don't even know. I can't even answer. I think because it was fun. I enjoyed it at the time. And again, I didn't even know I could make money doing it. I was just trying to create something inspiring. That's all I wanted to do, was inspire other women at that time.
And you didn't realize that you could monetize this type of, let's say, hobby, if you will. So you're a mom, you've got two young kids. It's 2015, which means your kids are probably closer to what, 10?
Let me do the math. Now my son was born in 2004, so he's 10 or 11, and my daughter's 8-ish.
Because I've got a son and a daughter as well. And when they were that age, I was, breathing that sigh of relief of, yes, please go outside and play with your friends. So you can take it on. And okay, so you still have 0 followers?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well,
And very little traffic on my website, right?
okay.
A successful website has a lot of traffic, a lot of eyes, visitors, right? So I really no traction on my website, except to people I would email, a newsletter out to. That's a whole other thing I had to learn how to do as well. And so yeah, I did not know you could even monetize until at one point. I remember the time back then when it was like, hey, you can get a free pillow from this brand, and how exciting, we can get free stuff, and all we have to do is show a picture of it and you get stuff for free. And that was kind of an exciting thing back then, again, without
Yeah.
realizing you could actually make money. So before monetizing, it was free stuff. And although I will say I still do work for product on periodically, most of what I do in exchange with brands is paid work. But even still, if there's a product that suits my needs, and the value is there, it matches the rates that I charge, or I need it for something, then it works out great. But way back when, it was just, we'd start with like, oh, this fun free pillow, let's promote it. And then just from there, I found out, okay, a website can actually make money. You could put links on here and people can click those links, and those links lead to a platform that tracks it, and you can get paid. And then I discovered advertising. When you have a certain amount of traffic on your website, you can get on an advertising platform, and advertising is passive income. And when you're on a website and these ads pop up, right, that funds my business. And just through networking, meeting people, learning, making tons of mistakes, and reaching out to people who knew the technical stuff better than me. And I still don't know all the technical stuff, but it's such a technical business, and it's changing so rapidly, as with AI especially. But Google dictates a lot of what we do as bloggers online. You have to meet criteria with the way you write content, the back end, if you know what I mean by that. I mean, the pictures are the easy part for me. It's a lot of work, but the creative part of this business comes to me very naturally. I don't second guess it. So it's the technical aspect of that was really, really hard for me to learn, because I'm not a tech savvy person, or I never really was. I've become much more tech savvy now. But even still, there's so much I still don't know, and learning along the way. And again, I had said, making a lot of mistakes along the way, doing things incorrectly that might have stunted some growth at certain periods with my website and whatnot. But it's getting there.
Okay, so this is painting a clear picture of, the growth and how you're networking, and it's about, people that you surround yourself with who are doing the things that you want to do. This sounds familiar, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Um, so now we're going to move a little bit forward to the point where exciting free pillows. I'd be excited about that. I'm starting to think I should write a blog about, exotic cars or something. So you have this exciting new thing to work
Yeah, it was
out, and now
cool.
you've got a little bit of money trickling in, and you're like, oh, okay, this is kind of nice. Now I
Oh
can,
yeah. When I got my
get the new
first
salt
paid
and pepper
gig,
shaker. Like,
yeah, exactly. And when I got my first paid job, it was like, what in the world? This is crazy. Somebody wants to pay me to do this? Like, I just couldn't believe it. So I've been so fortunate to be able to work with brands that want to pay me to promote their products. And it's all always I'm only going to promote something that fits my brand. I'm never going to promote something because you get bombarded with tons of brands wanting to work with you just to promote different things. If it's not a natural fit, I don't partner, not because it's not good enough for me. It has to be authentic for my readership, so I'm not going to promote something that is not a natural fit. Um,
you
so
worded that very well. Yeah. Same with guests, will say, I have to have guests that line up with my brand. So when you do your business and whatever it is that you're launching, you need to stay true to yourself and your vision. Have you
absolutely.
ever found yourself wanting to switch gears or maybe try something different? I know that you have this theme of in home, and I can see the beautiful colors and decor that you have, but have you ever thought, I want to try a different avenue or I want to go in a different direction?
As well, like because this was sort of again accidental, but of course, like I said before, not accidental. Like it wasn't my plan. I just fell into it. Um, like having always having a love for decorating, and my husband and I didn't get into this part yet. So we've had three homes. We've built two of them, and this home that we're in now, we did all the interior finishing ourselves. So we always it's a funny story, and again I'm going to go back to my faith and God's plan and how he orders our steps. We used to drive around looking at different areas, neighborhoods that we loved, and we always loved the neighborhood that we live in right now. And always it's got beautiful surrounding homes. And one day, we'll get there. We'll have that dream. And um, we loved to do things ourselves. We're big DIYers. We've never had huge budgets to just spend whatever amounts of money to do whatever we want. It was never that way. We always put the blood, sweat, and tears into all that sweat equity to build up our home. So at that time, we were looking or hoping, and we met a builder who would build basically a shell of a home. And again, it was just so funny how it works. I met a real estate agent. I think I had called them because I was curious about it goes back so far, either a home or a development. I don't remember. And he said to me, well, you know what? It's more affordable than you think. This builder does this. They build homes, but for people who can't afford the full finished home, he will give you an empty shell of a home. And so we did that. And my husband and I, we laid all the floors, we did all of the interior, like every bit of paint and trim work inside our house. We did ourselves. We did not do tile because we didn't have that expertise. And we had bathroom like cabinets and kitchen cabinets installed, but we did all the work. I um, filled something like 20,000 nail holes. We counted. I can't remember, something crazy like that. Okay. So, yeah, we were lucky enough to finish the home ourselves. So it was literally like empty, empty. When I say like, no, it was, subflooring and raw gyprock and raw openings, no, nothing inside the
No
house.
electric, no plumbing.
No, electric, sorry, finishing. We did finishing. We didn't do, so
Oh,
they
my
handed off.
apologies.
Yeah, that's okay. It was just interior finishing. So just want to make myself clear. I don't want to
Okay.
make it sound like we were that good because we're not that good. We just did all the pretty stuff inside. But it was hard work. And our kids were young. And my parents live about 30 minutes away. So we sold our house moved in with my parents. I would drop my kids off to school in the mornings. I'd come to the house, which was around the corner, do whatever work needed to be done all day long, pick them up from school, go back to my parents, feed them supper, put them to bed. My husband and I would come back and work till about 1 at night every night. And he was working full time, quite far away from where we are. So yeah, we did that. That took us about 5 months maybe. And then so we were so,
Blood, sweat, and
yes,
tears.
a lot. So we learned about flipping or not, I shouldn't say we learned about flipping. This builder allowed us to do that and afford it in a neighborhood we love and create a beautiful home that we love. I mean, it wasn't perfect and it's evolved tremendously from 16 years ago to today. And that I has a lot to do with my business as well. Um, so we wanted to flip at one point. We were like, should we flip? Should we get into it? We've talked about it. It was always an interest. I do have to say the physical labor was so intense, though. We were ready to just never want to do it ever again because it was really, really hard work. That being said, over 16 years, we have still done and still do lots of projects in the house ourselves because part of my content is a lot of room makeovers and DIY projects and that. So my husband is my handyman. He works, helps me out with all those things. And so real estate became a strong interest for me. It always was. We always dreamed about, uh, flipping one day, but do we really want to do the physical work? I don't know. And, it was just always there as an idea. And then one day, my brother lives in Florida. We go down to visit. We love it there. We've always dreamt about moving there one day. My siblings and I all wanted to move there. My parents wanted to at one point. So that's the dream one day. But a rental property is something we've always dreamed about. So I gained this interest in real estate and then through a friend discovered a real estate platform and what led me to meeting you. And I joined a platform to learn. So I I'm learning about investing and I there's so much to learn. It's just unbelievable. So I'm very new at it still, but I believe because I have this love and passion for interiors that the business I've built and my desire for what I want to eventually do in real estate, I'm not quite sure what it is yet. I think I can marry them somehow. I don't know how.
I
That's
can actually see it. I don't, you, sorry, you sent this message on over to me in a like telepathically, I guess. I don't know. And I can actually see it because I can see doing short term. I've been to Florida. I've been in the short term rentals. Orlando obviously is one of the biggest places. And with your design, everything down there is themed,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I can see you in that could just blow up your socials more than they already are because it's a new venture. It's exciting. It's different. So I could totally see you being able to pull that off and having fun with it. And
Oh,
I
that would
mean,
be a
traveling down to
dream.
Florida.
I would love it. I would love it. Like I joined not knowing anything about it and thinking, at that time I'm thinking, okay, real estate is buying and selling houses or flipping houses or renting a property, but there's so much more to it that I'm discovering. So I love the idea of short-term rental. Again, I'm still learning. But I have this belief that like, I mean, we are all blessed with gifts. I know what my gifts and talents are. And it's to create beautiful things. And I'm not afraid to say it. I think my dream to inspire people and to help people create their own vision for their own home or whatever it's going to be. Um, I think I can do that with physical homes as well. So yeah, we'll see where this leads one day. I don't quite know yet, but I'm willing to take that chance of figuring it out. And I hope that it brings to fruition what I think I have in my head. That would be awesome. I've actually seen other creators who are doing exactly that, and it's fabulous. It's amazing. Good for them. It's just that's exciting to see, and why not? Like, who would have known? 15 years ago, you could take a picture of your house, stick it up on the internet, and suddenly people want what you have, or people want to learn from you. And people, I mean, and what a gift! It's just to me, it's a blessing. It's just I am so blessed. I count my blessings every single day. And it's just I thank God every single day for the gifts he's blessed me with. I don't wake up There's not a day that goes by that I don't wake up and thank God before anything. I spend my time with God every morning in prayer. I can't start my day without him. And it's tremendous. It's changed my life drastically. And I know we talked about the faith thing here and there a little bit. And I know I've talked to you previously to this conversation about my faith and how important it is to me. And I just, yeah, I can't say it enough for me how important it has become a huge part of my life. It's become and how life changing it has become. Um, it's just like it's amazing to me the journey I've been on and where I was and the difficulties that I've had to face. Everybody has difficulties. No one is exempt from hardships in life. You know, you might not know that about other people that you follow online or whatnot, but we've all been through very trying times. Nobody's, like I said, nobody's exempt. And I'm a very emotional person. I wear my heart on my sleeve. My siblings make fun of me because I'm like the dramatic one in the family. You know, it's a big joke. And they can never, are you kidding right now? Are you serious? I'm not sure. Are you being sarcastic? Are you, you know what
Oh
I mean?
my
It's
goodness.
very funny.
I get that all the
Yeah.
time too.
I'm like,
But
seriously, you don't know me by now? Come on.
I
It's just,
wouldn't have it any other way. I have to have my heart on my sleeve.
yeah.
But that's the thing. A lot of people, like, if I'm joking, but I look serious and I
Yes.
can't tell, are you sarcastic? Well, learn to read, I guess. I
That's
don't know.
how, I
But
guess that's how you and I connect so well. We're very similar people. It's really funny. But yeah, so the
it's
hardships.
Yeah, it's a part of the human experience is the way that I explain it is, I mean, you can see people that you idolize online and you can see how great their life looks because that's what they choose to put online. That's what they choose to share. But just like you keeping the details of your family to yourself, someone on the outside is not going to know the trials and tribulations that you've had to go through to get to the point in your life. It's just, oh, well, she's lucky, she's gone to school and she learned this and look at her followers and everything's perfect and clean. I mean,
Yeah,
she's got
no.
nothing to complain about. But no, I feel like even with faith, even people who believe in, people who are religious versus people who are not religious, people who are spiritual, I feel that we all need something to believe in. We all need something that's going to get us out of bed in the morning and allow us to appreciate what we do have. This is my life. This is what I've created. This is what I've been given. These are the opportunities that I have. And to express gratitude for that and appreciation, you're not coming from a state of lack and negativity. You're coming from a state of love and appreciation for what you have, which in turn will attract more. If you're always negative, you're only going to see negative. You're only going to experience negative. If
100%.
you're positive and appreciative, I'm so thankful I have this home. I'm so thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my opportunities. You're always looking for love and positivity and opportunity. Would you agree with that?
100%. There's no question about that. That's perfectly said. Why wouldn't you be thankful for all the amazing things that we're blessed with? What's really also as equally important is to be thankful for the trials, because the trials there's a blessing in every trial. We don't see it when we're in it. It feels like the end of the world sometimes, depending on how difficult those trials are. And my life certainly isn't perfect, and my life is not as difficult as many other people. I don't want to even try to pretend that it is. I know there are many people in this world who face incredible hardships. Um, but what I've learned in my own experience through the hardships, life is not, it's never linear. It's up and down. Everybody goes through the peaks and the valleys. It's in the valleys where we have to have the most gratitude, because uh, there's always a learning experience through the valleys and the hardships. They always bring you out stronger. You're always going to grow from it. And for me, like one of my lowest points in my life, I've had a few low points more than one time, being the very, emotional person that I am. Uh, One that, in more recent years was losing both of my parents very close together. My father was sudden, my mother was ill. Within 18 months, they both left. And then at the same time dealing with a very serious issue that I won't disclose right now, but it was another really serious issue that we were dealing with. and then just having to manage all having to manage it all with the grief, of my parents. I also lost my little bunny. He was my baby. He was a free roam bunny in our home, and he was really my baby. So that was another huge loss, sudden loss. And there was just so much coming at me at once, that I just was so unable to carry. But I still had to manage a career. Like, my business was still running, and working really hard at it. My kids were still growing and older now at that point, yes, but life is just, it's not easy. There's always trials. So at this was a low that I had never really experienced. I didn't know how to come back from. Grief is just such it's so hard to explain. It's different for everybody, and grief is constantly changing. And it was really hard. And I was at my lowest low. And although I've always been very faithful, there's a difference between spirituality, faith, and I'm not overly, well, yes, I am religious. Of course, I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. He's my Lord and Savior. I have no shame in telling the entire world. I'll stand on a mountaintop and proclaim it to everybody, because he saved me. This one day in particular, where I've always been faithful, always been a believer. I never questioned my faith, maybe in my 20s a little, but I never questioned it. It was always part of me. My mother instilled that in all of us, but it was never by force. It was just natural for me. But I never practiced fully, if you or put it into practice on a daily basis. And then this low that I really hit, I felt like a rock bottom low, where I was just trying so hard to come up for air, and I couldn't. It was a moment that God spoke to me, saved me. This day, it changed my life. That was about 4 or 5 years ago. And I started to understand how to be grateful in the trials, and how it can shape you, and how we can't, for me, I don't want to preach and tell anybody else what to think, but for me, and as Christian believers, that's what we believe in. We get our strength from Jesus. He carries us through everything. We're not here to do it on our own. What a load that takes off your shoulders to not have to carry these burdens by yourself. And once I really started to grasp it, even though I always knew it but never practiced it, things changed in my life so dramatically. And nothing got easier. It's not that it got easier, it just changed. And I put into practice prayer every morning. I went through a thing where one of my sisters and I together, we're both share our faith very, very strong. We both read the Bible in a year, and which is really fascinating. It's such a fascinating book, very complex and very fascinating. And I'm, rereading it again. You have to read it several times. It's so complex, but it's amazing. And so it's become such a huge part of my life. I can't live without it. And it's brought me more success and happiness, just gratitude, blessings. I don't know how else to put it. It's just.
Would you say that going through trials and tribulations of life and business can sometimes feel isolating? And so maybe the discovery or rediscovery, if you will, of your faith and really bringing that to the forefront allowed you to share that heaviness of the valleys, as you said, so that you're not feeling so isolated?
Share the heaviness of the valleys with, like, who in particular? Sorry if I don't know if I'm understanding your question.
So when you started bringing your faith more to the forefront,
Okay.
you said it was only in the last 4 or 5 years. That prior to that,
Mm-hmm.
it can feel quite isolating
Yes,
in
yes.
business and in life. And sometimes some people just don't understand how you feel. They understand that you lost a loved one, but you just don't know how I feel inside. But God can understand how you feel inside. And therefore, you're not suffering alone. You're not
Exactly.
misunderstood, and you're not so isolated. That's what I mean.
100%, a million percent. God knows us better than we know ourselves. He knows every thought before we even think it, so he's the God of the universe. So he creates us. He's got us on a path. He has, and perhaps he put me here with you today so that I can proclaim my love for him. That's part of discipleship. We're called as Christians to proclaim God's love. And I'm not here to do that today necessarily, but wow, how grateful am I to be able to tell everybody about that. But so isolating before understanding it. That's exactly it. Like I didn't grasp that. Of course, yeah, I would pray. There's no question. Everybody prays, I think, to something, like you said before. I
Mhm.
think most people believe in a higher power of some kind, well, there are people who don't, yes, but for the most part, I think a lot of people do. And just feeling isolated, there was a lot of isolation from being a young mother with two young kids, feeling by myself, from starting, trying to manage this huge career and be a perfect mom and homemaker. So much isolation, even though I have the best husband who supports me no matter what. He's my best friend. We've been together for over 30 years, almost married 27, and he's amazing. So even having that, there are periods of your life where you just feel completely alone and isolated. But when I rediscovered my faith, no, Jesus is my best friend. I have him always. And I talk to him all day long, because I need him. Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. I was born Roman Catholic, never practicing, and then through my life became more spiritual. Through my personal experiences, that's what resonated with me. But same thing for you is that I feel I definitely appreciate not feeling alone. And you also touched on something earlier related to this is the highs and the lows, the peaks and the valleys. You need those in order to appreciate it. And so bringing that back to business is that if everything was perfect and smooth, you're going to just think, oh, this is easy. I can do this. But when you reach those blockages or anything that happens your way that you weren't planning for, that it throws a wrench in your plans, it really allows you to appreciate the times that are pretty good. Business is hard. Starting something new is hard. Learning something new can be hard. All these things, they are hard, but if it's always easy, then how can I possibly appreciate it? How can I wake up, like you said, in the morning, happy and appreciative for all the things that I have in the life that I have, if it's just always handed to me or if it always feels that way? So I feel that you need the yin and yang to every aspect of your life, including business, in order to appreciate what it is that you have and what you've built, and all those also those around you who help contribute to building your empire, if you will.
That's so well said. It's so true. I mean, you don't grow if you don't have lows, right? You have to fail. Any successful person is going to tell you, failure leads to success. That's how you gain success, is you learn through your failures and your mistakes. And this business that I feel, like I said, just organically happened. Just this home just turned into a business. It's my studio, it's my home. And I built this business out of nothing and made, like I mentioned earlier, made so many mistakes. And trust me, there were so many frustrating years. And, I didn't make a great income for a long time. And I'm not saying that, it's so huge now. It's not even that. It's just that at one point it was like, when is this ever going to pay off? I'm putting in so much time and effort, and like I'm not seeing things come to fruition. And it's a lot of patience. It's a lot of just going through the grind and believing that there's something at the end. And I came so close many times to just saying, I'm going to give up. I don't know how much longer I can do this. It's just because this is it's not an easy business. It's very competitive, highly competitive, especially now with AI, and every other person is creating, a platform or starting their own, channels or whatnot. And there's so many things still to do. Like I'm not even on TikTok. I'm not on YouTube. I haven't even gone down that road, if I even want to yet. I don't even know. I can only manage so much. I do it all by myself. I don't have a team. I have one virtual assistant who helps me on a platform with some of my content. And she's helped build my business, which is amazing. But I came so close so many times to just throwing in the towel because it's like, this is a 24/7 business, what I do. And that it's 24/7 in the sense that you're constantly working to create whatever you're going to put out there. And thankfully, because I live at home, I work from home, sorry, and I work for myself, I do have flexible schedule. I can work whenever I choose, but I'm working pretty much all the time. My home is my studio. I'm always creating here. And yeah, like there's just been so many, it's a grueling business and it's been tough. And, you know, several years of not seeing the success that I was hoping for, that I was seeing other people achieve around me, you know, was frustrating. And many times I wanted to just quit. But then I said to myself, well, I'm not going to go back and work for somebody else again, because I did that. I'm not, just not who I am. I'm not wired that way, although I would do contract work or whatnot. But I just kept coming back to, this job allows me flexibility to be home, even with my kids who are growing up and becoming much more independent and have their own lives. I still cook dinner when they're home. I still cook dinner every night. I still, this is still our home. This is still our family. And so this job gave me a lot of flexibility. So I stuck with it. And, I came to a lot of, again, I'm going to go back to faith for a second, because at one point I was so frustrated and I was just like, God, I don't know what's going on with this, but I'm trusting you. You're going to lead. And I know you'll, if this is really where you want me, I'm here for it. And then my business took a shift. No, I'm not kidding when I say that. I let it go. I let go of trying to control everything, because yeah, we can control things, what is in our control, but there's a lot of things that are out of our control. Most things in our lives, and this goes in business and personal lives, and no matter what, is so much is out of our control. And when we're trying to control all those things that we can't, that's where so many of us feel like we're failures, or we hit the roadblocks and we feel like we're not good enough, and we can't measure up. But, I can't control the success of another person. I have to be happy for that person instead of being mad that they're successful. You know what I'm saying? Like, be happy for other people, learn from other people's successes, look at it as inspiration and something that you might be able to create yourself one day. I think
Well, that is positivity though, right?
exactly, it's a mind shift of, and a lot of it is trying to control things when things are out of your control and you're trying so hard to grasp it. So many of us hit roadblocks, I think, and that's what I was trying to do. I couldn't, and it was one frustration after another, after another, after another. And it was when I finally submitted and said, okay, I can't control these things. I'm going to let them go. You can only control how you deal, how you react, and how you deal with those things. It was a big mind shift for sure. And faith was, for me, a big part of it. And I know it's different for everybody else. But yeah, once you realize and let go of trying to control it all, a lot changes.
That's a really important point that you're making there, and that I think our listeners really need to focus on, is that the bottom line is you can't control everything. Focus on what you can control, which is yourself and your reaction, but you can't control what happens in the market. You can't control the internet. You can't control any of these things. And so once you let go of that and submit to, the way things are working out, it will naturally flow and guide into the direction that it's meant to be. And it's for me, what I say is go with the flow. That's just the easiest way to sum it up, is just go with the flow, wherever it leads you, do that. But you also don't need to be a negative person and, oh, well, that person's more successful and, their business and this and that. It's no, you know what? That's a blessing. That's the way I see it, is we should be building each other up. I want to see you successful. It makes me happy to see other people around me being successful. And one day, they're gonna help me, or maybe we're working at the same time simultaneously, and it's a learning experience. Okay, what did that person do? What did that business do? That kind of thing. And just viewing it in a positive light, and be willing to receive the message that lies within that. You touched on a couple different things that I want to quickly just ask you questions on. Is, you said that you have an assistant. So I know that a lot of people will say that it's all about the team that's around you to build your business because you can't do everything. So where in this journey of yours did you decide I can't do it all, I need help? And how much does she, I guess not how much does she manage, but I mean, how does that help grow and expand your business?
So, well, she is a very small part of my business, what she does, but it's become like monetarily a good, really important part of my business. So, I'm on different platforms, and one of them is a shopping platform. It's called Like to Know It or Reward Style. So basically, a lot of creators are on this platform, and it's a shopping app ultimately. And I have a certain number of followers on that app, and I didn't have time to manage the app. I just didn't have time. So you post your content in there, and you can link all your items. So if I'm going to post a picture of my office that I'm sitting in right now, I can link the lamps behind me, I can link the desks, I can link all the items, and people go into that app and they can click and shop straight from there. And then I'll
Mm.
make a commission on whatever products they end up buying. So it was just a part of my business I had no time to invest in. And I had a small following on there. And you have it's like any platform, you have to be on and posting regularly to grow and to be successful on it. So um, I think she approached me to see if I needed help in that area. And I had tried out a few other virtual assistants. This is somebody who lives, I've never met her in person. It's all, remote. And none of them quite clicked or worked for my business. And with this girl, she's fantastic. I don't even have to, she runs this for me basically. And we check in obviously on a regular basis, and she's really great. So she's helped build that part of my business, and it's grown and it's monetizing, and it's fantastic. It's something I had no time to do on my own. So that's really the only quote unquote employee that I have. I've hired out a couple things over the years to help me fix a few things on the back end here or there, like just contract work, things that I might have done wrong on the back end of my website or whatnot. But other than that, that's it. So she's been a huge part of my growth in the last 2 years, which has been a blessing.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, I have to agree with that. Is there's you can't know everything. There's other people out there who are really good at what they do.
Yeah.
And I'm all about empowering them and, help them build their business by employing them. But would you say that by hiring someone, even though there is a cost associated with that, that it's allowed your business to expand and make even more money where
Without question.
she pretty much just pays for herself?
Oh, without question. And at first it was, as long as I break even, I'm fine, because she's
Yeah.
also helping me grow, right? So because the idea was also to grow in the app and get more followers. So the more people, the more you're going, the more you'll succeed. So as long as I was breaking even, I was okay with that, but it's far exceeded that. So 100%, there's no question. You do have to invest in your business if you want growth, because we
Hmm.
cannot do it all. It's impossible. And now I'm not quite sure if anybody in this business does it completely alone. I don't know. I don't think so.
I think that would be
Like
really
people
hard.
hire, yeah, like I've been lucky enough with my professional background that I can take pictures and I can retouch pictures, and I can, with my graphic design background, I'm able to create images where a lot of people might have to contract that out. I mean, not everybody does, but some people might have to hire a photographer or hire a retoucher or whatever. So, if I'm taking a picture and I need to straighten, the angles because they're a little crooked in the shot, or I need to retouch that the lighting's not quite right. So I got to fix the color on that pillow because that's not how it translates properly, things like that. So
Yeah. I mean, focus on your strengths, right?
yeah,
You're fortunate enough to be able to have that skill set, but someone else may not have that, and their skill set might be, the social platforms, right? Or managing those apps where
exactly. Or people who VAs who do all the comments, handling all their social
uh
media comment. I don't
yeah.
have anybody to do that. So I need a little help there. That's another thing.
Responding to
Yeah. But
800 comments.
yeah, well, I do always in the beginning, whenever I post on Instagram, I'll just talk about that and Facebook as well. I'm a little less involved on my Facebook page, and it's growing right now, so I need to get more invested. But yeah, I post a reel or a static shot or a carousel of pictures or whatever, and people comment. And part of what's really important when you're posting, part of the algorithm, if you want your post to be seen, is you've got to interact, you've got to engage with your audience. So I'm generally engaging within the first few hours of a post as much as I can. There's also an automated linking back to that shopping app I was just talking about. I have an automated comment thing set up where if people use a trigger, use a keyword that I tell them to, they'll get a link to go shopping in that app. So a lot of the comments will be people saying shop, or if it's pillows, whatever word I tell them, comment XYZ. And if they put that word in their comment, they'll get a prompt in their inbox to go shop on that
Yeah.
platform. So a
I've
lot of the
tested
comments
those things
are
out.
those auto comments as well. So they're not just everybody saying, oh, wow, this is great,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's really good. I've tested that out and I like the way that that works. I mean, AI can, help you in so many different ways. So tough question, maybe. Uh, how long would you say it took from your very first blog, this is an idea, this is my brainchild, I'm going to test it out, and I don't know what hashtags are, to the moment that you receive your first check? How long was that?
Oh, let me think. Let me think. Maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe.
Okay.
2 or 3
And would you say
years.
that you were able to replace your old income from your career before? You can do that now?
Today, yes.
And how long did that take?
That took me a long time. That took me a very long time. Again, I'm going to just go back to some of those really tough times when you're seeing other people grow and be more successful, and like not having that myself, hitting those roadblocks and frustration, like when's it going to come to fruition for me? Took me a long time, but I had to just stick with it. So I would say to really, like, it's hard, and this is the kind of business too where it's unpredictable. You don't know what you're making. I don't have a set salary because it really depends on the traffic that I get on my website. It depends on the brand jobs I get paid to do. It depends on, like, so for instance, if my website gets a lot of traffic, which I'm working on, that's one of my biggest goals, is to build my traffic, because I'll always, the bigger that gets, the more income I'm going to get just through affiliate links. Like I mentioned before, someone links on something and you make a commission, or ad revenue, which is passive income because those ads pop up, people click, you make money on that. It did take several years. I'm not going to lie. It was a lot of hard work and, um, you know, just sacrificing. So I would
And it
say,
feels like you're working for free.
oh yeah, it did for a long time. And then, God, it's so hard to think back at the exact time frame, but I would say at least 5 years before some kind of regular income was coming in. And then,
5 years, okay.
I'm just kind of trying to figure out that when it might have started. It's just so hard to say. And it's been up and down. There's no question about that. It's not been an easy road. And another reason why I hope to get into real estate investing and tie that business into this somehow, because this is an unpredictable business. And with AI and all that coming, who knows where it's going to go? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm
Hmm.
just, doing the best I can every day, showing up every day, doing whatever I have on my to-do list, um, and hoping that I can just you know create beautiful things that people are going to want more of. But I would say, like I said, maybe 5 years till I started seeing like a decent salary coming in, and it was up and down from that point on.
Yeah, I think that's important that our listeners hear that though. I mean, that's what I'm looking for is people, I want to inspire people who want to get off that hamster wheel, who want to start their own business, who want to tap into their creativity and say, I want to create something, but I don't know what, or I don't know how. And to get the reality of it, that you were that person, and all these amazing entrepreneurs who have this idea, who say, I want to create, I want to do something with my life, I want to bring it to fruition. It takes a lot of hard work, and I think that that's what sets successful people apart, who start their own business, to from the other people who say, um this is an awesome idea, but I never can, and then they just go back to their 9 to 5.
Right.
And I'm using this platform to inspire people to say, I can do it. It's going to be hard work. It might take me 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
but now I've got that expectation that it's going to take blood, sweat, and tears. It's going to take trials and tribulations. There's going to be
Absolutely.
peaks and valleys. There's going to be no money. There's going to have to be a lot of learning. There's going to be emotional times where I feel isolated. But
Yes.
when you put in the time and the effort and the education, and you dedicate yourself to that, whether it's a side hustle and you do both at the same time, or you say, okay, I'm gonna be a stay-at-home parent, and then I'm gonna do this on the side. Eventually it does build into that, but it doesn't do it on its own. That's the key.
Right.
And
100%.
so many people are just too scared to take action because I can't do it. I don't know enough. I'm not good enough. I don't have these skills. That's okay. You don't have to. That's where you
Exactly.
hire your assistant. That's where you learn. That's where you research. That's where you try something to see if it works. And if it doesn't work, it's like, okay, process of elimination. That doesn't work. On to the next, right? But don't
Absolutely.
let it beat you down.
Yeah, you can't, especially in a business like this. And listen, I'm not going to lie. I've had a lot of times where I was beaten down and not feeling good enough, and the comparison game. I mean, it's so easy to fall into that. I mean, social media in and of itself, that's all it is. We sit and, scroll and look, and why can't I, you know what I mean? So everybody goes through it, no matter how successful you are. I don't pretend to have it all together. It's the complete opposite. You know what I mean? I still face the struggles. I still find it so challenging. And whatever it is, there's so many challenges running a business of your own, whatever it is. And that's exactly it. You have to stick with it. If it's something you believe in, you have to stick with it. And it's non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. I mean, I can't just walk away. I'm certainly not going to walk away after putting in what I've put in after all these years. That would
Mhm.
be, I mean, it's different if I'm, consciously making the decision, okay, this has come to its, it's lived its life, it's come to its end, it's time to move on to something different. That's fine. No problem if that's what you want to do. But I know for me, it was tough. It was discouraging. It was, when is it gonna, ever, when am I ever going to find that success that, I'm looking for, and when's it going to pay off monetarily? Like, yeah, it was definitely not an easy road. And it's just, you have to keep going. You just cannot give up, and you have to believe in, I've heard several of your guests say this, and it's so true. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You cannot give up on believing in yourself, even though on the days when you don't believe in yourself, you still have to do it. You have to show up no matter what. You have to put in the work.
So yeah, absolutely. So if you're going to give our listeners a piece of advice, something that they can do today to take action on their plans, what advice would you give them?
I knew this question was coming, and I didn't want to prepare for it ahead, because I've listened to all your episodes. Like I said, they've been amazing. And I did not prepare ahead. And I said to myself, I don't know what I'm going to say, because there's so many things I could say.
Well, I don't want you to plan for it. That's what I want everyone to know, the listeners to know. We don't plan this. This isn't
Yeah.
scripted. This isn't edited. I don't cut shit out, nothing. This
I
is a
feel like I've been
conversation. Yeah, by
rambling
all
on
means.
and on. This might be another ramble. I don't know, but I guess the one thing, oh my gosh, it is a hard question, but um, you have to start your day personally, professionally, because they go hand in hand. You have to start your day every day with gratitude. I can't put it more simply than that, because if you don't, it's just hardships are going to come your way, and you're going to be beaten down, and you're going to find the struggles too hard, and you're not going to want to get through the day, but if you wake up, whoever you're thanking that morning, whatever you're thanking that morning, if you can open your eyes and you can breathe, you are one blessed being, and you have to have gratitude for that. If you can get up and get out of bed, and we're just so lucky, we're so, life is precious, life is a gift, and I don't want to get all spiritual and philosophical, but when you start your day in that mindset, it changes everything, and it keeps things in perspective. You realize the little things that you get so upset about or frustrated with. And I do still have those days. My life is not perfect. My days are not perfect. I have a lot of frustrating days, even when I start my day off every single day, like I said, in prayer and faith and thanking God. I still have hard days. And those are the days where I'm like, God, just, I'm giving it to you, because I'm sorry, I'm a giant mess today. Me, this is how I react in a situation when I know I shouldn't. I know I'm not doing what I'm not being my best, but please forgive me, and give me that strength. It's just gratitude, perseverance. That's another one. Just keep moving forward, one thing at a time, one thing, it's, we can't do it all in one day. It looks like a mountain, but the little things. So it's a couple things. I know you want one thing out of me, but I can't give you one thing. I have too much to say. Gratitude. It starts all with being grateful, counting your blessings, and just perseverance. Believe in yourself. Keep moving forward. Don't give up. And even in the hard times, be grateful, because that's the biggest blessings come out from the biggest hardships. There's
That's
no question.
really good advice. I like that, because nothing's going to be perfect. You talked about the peaks and the valleys. It's going to happen, and it's inevitable. And that's how you're going to get through those peaks and valleys. But further to what you said was that you may not always be acting in your highest good. Those are my words, not yours, but you alluded to it.
Mm-hmm.
And just like life, people have peaks and valleys with their emotions, with their mental state, with their physical state. You're never going to be performing optimally on all cylinders, or you're going to burn yourself out. And so maybe you need those days and those times where you're like, I'm a mess. I'm not doing this today. I'm not the best at this today. But that allows you to stop burning the candle at both ends and being so perfect,
Yeah,
and
nobody,
allows you to perform optimally on those other days.
without question, that I couldn't agree more. Coming from, like, I am a major perfectionist, there's no question about that, but I have no trouble admitting when I am so imperfect. Well, I'm a perfectionist. I try to achieve perfection, but I'm like the furthest thing from perfect. And that's exactly it. I have a lot of days like that, even with, you know, all the things I try to put into practice every day to make it a perfect day. Oh my goodness. Especially, things come out of left field all the time. We're all facing crazy things that come at us, right? So uh, every,
Mhm.
everybody faces nothing is easy in this life, and that's okay. It's a good
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. You've always got new things coming up. So speaking of which, if you're going to promote yourself and tell us what you're doing and how we can find you, how do we do that? And what are you up to?
You can visit my website, citrineliving.com. That's where, I talk about all things beautiful, and I try to, talk about creating a beautiful home and lifestyle. I share recipes on there as well. Some of my most popular, highest traffic blog posts or recipes, believe it or not. And you can find me on Instagram. Citrine Living is my handle on all platforms. So you can search me up on Pinterest if you want. You can see all my images there. Pinterest is not a social platform. It's actually a search engine, but I'm on Pinterest, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and my website. Citrine Living, that's where you'll find me. And I hope to be able to inspire people, and I hope whoever comes looking for me finds some things that will inspire their day. That's
Oh,
for sure.
thank you. That's I already follow you online. And I know the answer to this, but I do have one last question for you.
Okay.
Where did you get the name Citrine Living?
So it came, and my husband is the one who came up with it. He gave me a ring, however many years ago, before I started this, around that same time, my birthstone, citrine or topaz, I think it's either or. And it's a stone that, is, he gave me this ring. He's so good. He's just amazing because it's a stone that is supposed to bring positive energy and positivity and, just, abundance
Abundance.
in all those things, and uh he's the one who said to me, hey, and that's when I was like, what do I name, what am I going to name this thing? And he's like, how about Citrine Living? I was like, okay, that's kind of catchy. I like it. And so it's stuck, you
I
know.
like it. Living
Oh,
an abundant lifestyle.
yes, exactly. I have one more piece of advice. It just came to me, and I did, this was something I did know I wanted to say. One of my old bosses gave me this piece of advice, and I never understood it at the time. Or at the time when he said it to me, I was like, what? That doesn't make sense, because me, the perfectionist over here, wants everything perfect. And he said to me, Tamara, always remember, speed trumps perfection. I'm like, what? What do you mean? He goes, you can't make everything perfect all the time. Sometimes you just got to get it done as fast as you can, because A, you got to monetize, B, you got to get it out there, you need to market it and whatever. And it can't always be perfect. Stop trying to make everything perfect. So that's what I did with my business when I built it at the same time, going back all those years. I just did it. I didn't try to make it perfect. I was like, okay. And I even remember at the time when I did my logo, I was like, this might not be my perfect logo right now, but it's okay. I need a logo. I got to start building my brand, and it's stuck. I still have it today. I never ended up changing it, but it was just get it done. Just keep going, get it done. So speed trumps perfection. One of my bosses said that to me years ago, and it's always stuck. It was like gold, that little nugget
Mm.
that he gave me.
Really good advice. Thank you for sharing that. And you're absolutely right. You listened to the first few episodes of my podcast, and it took forever to release them, by the way.
Oh, really?
I did, yeah, because I created my website and started getting my platforms and everything like that in October of 2025, but I didn't release it until the first week of April of
Okay.
2026, because I needed to perfect it and it didn't sound right and this and that. And I got the whole speed over perfection.
Yeah.
And I was like, fine, F it. I'm just gonna put it out
Good
there
for
and you'll
you.
hear, thank you, but it's scary. The problem is that you don't know what tweaks and improvements you can make until you release it and you can look at it from a new perspective. If you
Right.
don't release it, if you don't put it out there and create it, it's impossible to view it from that new perspective because you didn't allow that to happen.
I'm so proud of you, because I remember the conversations we had. We had an instant connection, you and I, when we met. And I remember you asking me about my business way back when. And when I found out about this podcast, I was so excited for you. And and I know you're such a natural, and you're so easy to talk to. You ask amazing questions, and it's amazing. I'm so proud of you, and you're doing it incredible. You will continue to do incredible things with this. I'm positively sure about that. It's awesome. So you need to be, proud of yourself. Give yourself that credit, because that's another thing we don't do. We don't give ourselves credit. That's a huge piece of advice. Here I go again. Here's another piece. You have to be proud of your accomplishments. It's
Thank
okay.
you. Yeah, you know what? For those listeners who don't know this, Tamara and I had a few conversations before, and it was a thought in my head about doing a podcast, and I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to do or the platform, but I knew that there was something in my DNA telling me I need to do this. So we actually had a conversation that was at least 45 minutes to an hour, and I had multiple pages of notes. And Tamara is actually one of the reasons why I started this podcast. So I want to thank you so much for inspiring me, for cheering me on, for telling me that you have faith in me and that I can do this, as well as for being my guest here today and for contributing this amazing story to our community and helping them build up their confidence to move forward. So thank you for being my guest.
Gabrielle, thank you. Honestly, I'm very humbled. I'm very honored. I can't even tell you what that means to me, to know that I was part of, who would have ever, I never would. And when you told me this more recently, that I inspired you to do this, I'm mind blown. I would never in a million years think something like that. So I'm so grateful to have been a part of your journey. And wow, like, thank you for sharing that with your audience. And thank you for telling me. And I'm so happy that I can, contribute some little part of it. And, you know, I'm thrilled for you. You're amazing. And, thank you so much. And I'm so grateful to be here and to tell my story. I know I ramble on like endlessly, so I apologize for that, but I have a lot to say. And I'm really happy to have had this experience. I was nervous coming into it, as you know. Um, but yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm truly so grateful and honored, and you're awesome. Keep doing what you're
Thank
doing.
you. Thank you. And I'm going to take this opportunity to turn this to our listeners and say, if you like what you hear, if you find value in what the Powerhouse and what our guests bring to the table, please like and subscribe so that we can reach as many people as possible and inspire them to reach their dreams. Until then, my name is Gabrielle Caine, and this is the PowerHaus Podcast. This is the PowerHaus Podcast with Gabrielle Caine. Know someone who should be on the show? Email info@powerhouspodcast.com. Until next time, do one thing differently today.